Well, hello everyone. We are now live. How's your Monday? Where are you watching from? Come on into the chat. And of course, if you are part of the replay gang and you're not like, what is you didn't watch it live with us, let me know in the comments. Hashtag replay gang. But how are you guys all doing? How's your Monday? I watched this documentary last night. I want to come together as a community, the importance of community and how one thing can tear apart that community. But I want us to all come together, have discussion, chat. So I'll let y'all come in here. Y'all getting notified that I'm live. Once you come in, let's check in. How's your Monday? How was your weekend? What emotions are still sitting with you after watching this documentary? Okay. What's coming up for you? Did you take a break? Did you watch the whole thing? Okay. Were you able to sit through the whole thing? Were there times where you maybe had to step away because it was just too much? Okay, it was just too much. But yeah, come on into the chat. Just getting ready over here. Trying to get my life together. It's been a long work day. It's been a long day, y'all. But I want to talk about the documentary. I want us to all come together and just have a discussion. Does community still exist? Is it becoming a thing of the past to um, have community exist? And is community also being torn apart by divisiveness? Uh, the world being so focused on our differences that it's impossible for people to see that a lot of people just need connection and community. But I feel like the sense of community that people think they have at times is not real. They find that out through distrust, through trauma, and sometimes people have community, but because of finances, they lose it. Maybe they have to move. Maybe they lose a job. Maybe they have to cut back on social engagement because of finances. So I think the theme of community and people needing that came up so often in this documentary. The kids growing up in community, feeling joy, being outside, and how one person continued to try and take that away from them. But come on into the chat, y'all. We just getting started. I'm getting my life together over here. But I want to know where y'all watching from. What came up for you as you were watching this documentary? Are you still sitting with some of the feelings? What are you feeling as we're talking about it? As you're thinking back to watching it, are there things that are coming up? But if you guys are new here, I'm Denise Bray. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. We recap documentaries, mental health, reality TV shows, all from a therapist lens. So, watching this documentary, at first, like I said, if you watched my video, I was not going to watch it because I feel like at times we see the same thing over and over: the system failing people of color, the system not being designed for us but against us. And I've seen so many tributes, RIPs, documentaries, news segments of the same thing. And it's like, when is it going to change? Is it possible for it to change? And so I wasn't going to watch it. But then I did my research on Greta and looking at how, the family was heavily involved. People who knew AJ were heavily involved. So I'm like, okay, let me, give it a try. And it was just like chaos emotionally, different things on the scenes, watching the kids just, playfully be outside, just experiencing life, and to not know that that was going to be taken from them. Okay, just to not know. Hey, Lena, you always be in my comments. Welcome to the live. Yeah, she did. She wanted to steal their joy. There's a part of me that wonders, if there was a need for her to be seen, and she had her own issues. Well, we obviously know she had issues, okay, But why move into this community knowing that there are children there? You had to know when you went over there and you were looking at the place, there are kids outside. This is a community. Okay. How could you not know that? Or did you choose to still move into this place knowing that it wasn't for you? Okay. Knowing that. Let me Yeah, we all wanted justice. Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching I love when people come on, they're like, "I watched it because of your review." That, like, I really enjoy when you guys say that, but Reese, you always over here. Thank you, Reese, always supporting. But we gotta take some deep breaths because it's a heavy conversation, a heavy, heavy topic, okay? But this Black mom was just trying to raise her kids, trying to be a manager, trying to give them a life, trying to allow them to be outside, but over and over again, Susan said, "This is my land. This is my property." It's like she wanted to have dominance and control, and she felt like she can do it through these kids. And I wonder, do you guys feel like the police failed them? They just kept going out, making reports, and we see it all. I believe it first started in what, February of 2022, and it just kept going. They kept coming out. At what point do you arrest her, give her a ticket, put in the comments or the notes that this is a repeated call? No, you just kept coming out. Yeah. But it was before that she was gonna get arrested when she was ramming that man's gate, when she first was gonna get arrested for something. But then it's like, "Oh, you're handcuffing me? Oh, I might go to jail?" Well, actually, my trauma made me do it. My trauma. I was just, fearful of my safety, and so I kept ramming the gate. And of course, the police officer's like, "Oh, okay, ma'am. You know what? Let me just go talk to him. Imma just make it go away." Now imagine maybe if she had got arrested that night, would that have possibly made her think about leaving? Could she have had some charges? Maybe, a protective order? But I remember, the shooting happened, and it wasn't until there was protests and uproar that they needed to do something, and then wasn't it like, oh, what, 4 years later or something like that? And somebody let me know because I am really, there was a point after them kids started crying. As a Black mom of 2 boys, watching them boys cry, I'm like, "That's enough. I'm kinda done right now. Kinda done." So let me know, once the incident happened, did she continue to live there for those 4 years? Somebody come in the chat and let me know, because I can't imagine this woman still got to live across the street as we're grieving, burying my mother, burying my daughter, and this lady is still looking out her window at us, okay? Very disappointed. Yeah. Were y'all here to help or hinder? Because 'Cause I'm not sure they were here really helping. What did they really do that made a difference? And I wonder, some of y'all not gonna like this, but if it was a white mother whose kids kept, playing outside and Susan was Black, would there have been, things put in place, handcuffs, before it escalated this far? 'Cause it's almost like the police kept going out there to pacify the situation, but not really to stop, make change, like, okay, even the kids, having to grow up and understand what the word Karen is. That Karen over there, she keep telling us we can't play. A child having to learn that word, okay? And all they wanted to do was play outside. I feel like this woman showed no remorse. She had the same look on her face in court, during sentencing, the same, just like dead in the eyes. And this was premeditated, y'all. Her Googling stand your ground laws. At what point are we going to see change? Is it possible to see change? Okay. Now, I also want to share this video that I saw of someone who's involved with the family sharing some things. So let me, because this is hearing him, he had to be so young when they were first putting together um, the documentary. And I want y'all to hear some of his words. Of course, now it's taking forever to load. What the sound at?
The perfect neighbor, because I haven't made any TikToks about this or any videos about this situation because it happened before I started making videos. But for the many people don't know that this is actually my family. All the people involved with the film The Perfect Neighbor, including Ajike herself, is a part of my family. From the director Gita, that is my aunt, to Takima, who helped put everything together. That is also my aunt. My mother is a part of this. Kim, Lisi, and Miss Pam became a part of the family. Ajika's mother. All of these people who you see in the interviews, who are mentioned to be attached to the movie and things like that, every single last person is a part of my family, including Ajika, because Ajika and my mother were best friends. And so throughout this whole entire process, when this film was being made, when everything happened, I never really made a video about it because I didn't want to take that attention away from what was going on. But from all the experiences I had went through being a part of the family, being in the room when things were being discussed and seeing all of this transpire around me, one of the things that this film really showed me, not even the film, but the situation itself. You guys are seeing the film, the lead up to it, but a lot of people didn't see or haven't seen the aftermath of everything that came after this situation. And through this tragedy, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen happen in my life took place. And it was the camaraderie of black women. I have never seen strength shown on this scale in my life if it were not for black women. The amount of pain that each of these women endured, including and especially the children, but the amount of pain that all of these women endured as mothers that had kids of their own. And what makes the situation even more ironic is that I used to live in the same exact apartment that Ajika used to live in. I used to play in the same exact field that her kids were playing in.
Wow.
So me and my mother were very close to this situation, but through all that realization that that could have been her, that could have been me in that situation, that could have been one of my brothers. The way these women came together to ensure that Ajika Owens received justice was absolutely amazing. I've never seen that before in my entire life, how all of these women came together to not only make sure that this situation was heard, that justice was served, but to also ensure that their own household stayed together. And that now these four children that Ajika had left behind had to be taken care of, and every single one of them became their mothers. That was the most powerful thing I have ever seen. For them to still have been going through every single thing that they were going through in their personal lives, but still made time, still had the patience, still had the willpower to keep going, and then to make sure that they could provide, that they could do everything that they needed to do for the children, to make sure that they were loved, to make sure that they had, to make sure that they did not go without. That is the most powerful thing that I want people to learn.
Well, this is what I watched when I first was thinking about not watching it. I saw this video, which made me think about, okay, I'm gonna go watch it because I want to support the family.
From this film is not just about the tragedy. The tragedy of itself is horrific. Everything that transpired is absolutely absurd that it even had to get to that point. But through that anger that a lot of people are going to receive while watching this video, I want you to then think about the aftermath and think about the beauty of everything that came out of it. That is one thing about Black people, especially Black women, is that through times of tragedy, there was always something beautiful that comes out of it.
So this is the video that I watched where I was doing my own research. And I'm like, what he's saying is so powerful. And it's like, okay, this is all the promo I needed. I was like, okay, let me go watch it because knowing, yes, the power of once again community. A community of Black women came together to make sure her story was told. Not through interviews, not through the news, but we became eyewitnesses on the scene of different events that led up to her passing through the body cam. And the body cam footage was another way for them, the family, to regain power over the narrative and regain power in this situation. And yeah, through grief, trying to still raise, I think she had 4 kids, trying to raise 4 kids through grief. Put this documentary together, make sure they have some sense of stability, some sense of normalcy, while they are also still trying to grieve. It is powerful. Lena, it is very powerful. And I can only imagine, how long it took them to probably get the body cam footage released, the lengths that they had to go through to get it, and then edit or hire people to edit and put it all together. That is another layer of trauma. Okay. Watching the events leading up to someone you loved, you knew, you cared for, ultimately have their life end. And though there was at the beginning of when the evening when, AJ passed away, unfortunately, the first video on the scene was not blurred. I think we saw it blurred later on. So I can only imagine them watching that, the kids being there present, rewatching it through probably some of the videos, everybody involved, and how re-traumatizing it is to be there when it happens. Watch the body cam stuff. Put the body cam stuff together. And now as a family, team, community, once again, themes of community, sit there and watch the documentary together before it even gets to Netflix. Okay, because they had to shop it around to see who would pick it up. And each time they're rewatching, re-adding, and going through it over and over again. I think for people who watch, it's more like, okay, I watched this one time, but for the people involved, like he's saying, the aftermath of seeing this over and over and over again. Okay, that's hard. Yeah. The community. The community, I think some of those parents and kids built that woman, I was gonna say her name, that woman, tried to take away, was still existent. They came together. And once again, looking at the aftermath, I wonder how many of those people still live there because they can't afford to move anywhere else. This is all they have. They know it as home. People who have bought some of those apartments, and it's like, why I own this. In some ways, that's generational wealth. Like me owning this property, and just the ripple effects of one woman's decision. Probably because she thought, similar to Zimmerman, she was gonna get away with it. And she did in some ways that it took them so long to convict her. And now at her age, I guess 25 years, is that life? I guess it's life at that point, but nothing will bring back their mother. Okay, nothing's gonna bring her back. And watching that boy, the first, I think it might be her eldest son, the first boy run to the house, call 911, call 911, just in panic, hysteric, shock. She shot my mom. She shot my mom. Were there not other options than just shooting her? Move. Why not move? How the cops kept saying they would rather the kids play outside. Yes. Why is that even being discussed? I it could have been because of, maybe the area. It could have been that is true. Like kids in general could be doing things, but then it could be like you're saying, implicit bias. Like, would you say that if you went to an all white neighborhood and this was happening? Or would you say like, well, these kids could be at soccer, these kids could be at baseball. Okay. That is true. Why do you have to be the comparison that they can be committing crimes? Okay. That's a good perspective. Thank you, Reese, for that. But imagine if the community was not as strong as it was, what would have happened? Would she still be living there, tormenting the community? Okay, would she still be living there? And earlier someone commented on my video. I should pull up the comment because people like, what's wrong with some of y'all? Okay, what is wrong? Just the negative comments that people make. Let me see if I could find it. I should just blocked them. Because somebody put a very nasty comment up in here saying that it was AJ's fault. That she should have never went outside. I'm just like, what is wrong with people? Blaming the victim. Yeah, somebody said, why didn't the victim move? Or yet the police said, keep her kids from going across the street with that mess and nonsense. She could have de-escalated the situation. But she had that same person had put another little nastier comment than that, but I don't know where it's at. But I'm just like, why are people blaming the victim? Oh, here it is. Let me pull it up. The victim should have been arrested also. Let me see if I can make myself a little smaller. Okay. The victim should have also been arrested. If you watch the documentary in the beginning, police were telling her that her kids were trespassing on the neighbor's property. Plus, they are all in the video taunting the neighbor. Susan had a problem, but the victim was just as worse. She was standing her big messy ass out there provoking her children to participate in the nonsense. Instead of de-escalating the situation, she was adding fuel to the fire, which eventually ended in her life being taken. Susan is doing time, but the victim is in the cemetery and her kids are left to be raised by someone else. And hopefully they are teaching them better. And my comment was, what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay. And it's always the faceless people. It's always the faceless people. I think this, the comment shows a lot of what is wrong with this world. Yeah, this could have been anybody. She was just going across the street to get the iPad. And I wonder if that the lady knew that she would go over there and get the iPad, and this would be like, this is my opportunity. Because she gonna want the iPad back. And she gonna come over here and get it. But it to me is the people who don't have real photos. The internet gangsters who have no control in their real life. So they're able to come on here and say whatever they want. Okay. I don't maybe it's not for me to understand the stupidity. But it just shows you just how people just believe they could say and do whatever they want on the internet. Yeah, that person made that up in their minds. Okay, they made that up. But I feel like it was a setup. She had already did the Googles, and she had to know that if she took a possession like an iPad, or even if it was a bike or a skate, okay? She knew that after all these years, what was it, 2 years? 2 years, I think, of the back and forth, that she would come over there. She didn't even open the door. Okay. She didn't even open the door. She knew what she was doing. Okay, she knew what she was doing. But I think any mother would have went over there to return and get something that someone took from their child, especially an adult. But it's sad that people love to blame the victim. But if you met that person in the street in that comment, they probably wouldn't say that to your face. But they feel like they can say that online. Does anyone know if there was any kind of foundation or anything settled for the kids at all? I haven't heard anything about that. But it was a hard watch. And I wonder about the kids trying to recover from the things they saw. Oh, okay, her mom set something up. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, they did. How long did it take the jury to come back with a verdict? Does anybody know? Was it pretty quick that they came back with a verdict? But this woman still got to the 4 years of her life post killing somebody. I'm guessing in that same house. So then people had to still drive by and see her going in and out, or just seeing that spot, seeing this woman live her life for 4 years. She got to live 4 more years of her life. But those kids, not just her kids, but the other kids too, having to witness what happened. I also wonder how long did it take for emergency personnel to come out the night that she was shot versus the nights that them cops came out over and over again. What was the time period? I was wondering. Um, Maybe if they had come quicker, would she still be alive? Those are still questions that I have. Did y'all have any like lingering questions or thoughts that you feel like the documentary did not really respond to or answer? Did this lady have a family at all? Because she seemed kind of lonely and bitter and preying on these kids. Honestly, I think I stopped watching right after she passed away. So um I didn't see that part because it was just too sad. You know, them didn't they ask one of the boys, "Are you physically okay?" And he said, "I'm physically okay, but my heart is broken." And after that, I stopped watching. I stopped watching. It was just too hard after that. Yeah. It's just sad that she got to still live 4 years of her life on that same block. And I wonder was she still tormenting them kids? Oh, you would have wanted to see interviews? I guess so, yeah. I would probably wanna see interviews of the neighbors, like, post everything that happened, like, did they continue to live there? Um, Because they did you kinda got interviews from the perspective of the body cam footage. What lady? Monique, what lady? Oh. Oh, they was messing with her house afterwards. Yeah, the night they put her in handcuffs, she's like, "Can I go back inside? My cats." You just shot somebody, and your first thought when you come out is about your cats, okay? My cats, what about my cats? What about the lady that's laying next door to your house? Okay, what about that? Oh, are you saying that Susan went to, AJ's house? What did Reese Oh, okay. I heard about, I wonder if I could find the video. I think I read about how he told the kids that their mom wasn't coming back. But like I said, I stopped watching it after, the boy said his heart was broken because mine was too. Okay, I found it.
Oh, y'all seen it? Y'all understand it? Y'all experienced it, right? Okay. Y'all love me? Okay. Y'all love mom? All right. I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back in the door. Come. No, no. Come here. Come over here. Listen to me. No. It's okay. I know. Okay. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You can't go home. It's all right. Oh, y'all seen it?
How did y'all watch this part? I'm glad I didn't watch it last night 'cause oh my god, like, they didn't even know that their own mom had passed away. Like, that's heartbreaking that they thought she was gonna be okay and be able to come back. That's sad. That's a pain that you will always live with. That's a deep pain right there. But no, I didn't originally see that part because, like I said, I had to stop watching it, um, when one of her sons said his heart was broken. Yeah, I couldn't watch that part as a mom, especially having 2, raising 2 boys myself. I'm like, I could not after that. Okay, I could not. It was just so sad to watch them just like the belief just be snatched away. The hope snatched away that, okay, maybe, they took her to the hospital. We're going to go see her. Things are going to be okay. And that just be ripped apart. I really wish that they had had some social workers, mental health workers on site that night. It doesn't feel like they did. And I don't even know if they did days after. That's what's also very sad. But yeah, I don't know how some of y'all watched the whole thing. It was just like over and over again, just heartache and pain. Now, I think I read that in the interrogation room, she was cussing and had all these racial slurs, I believe is what I read. Yes, this is the part I stopped watching at. um, when they took her away in the ambulance and they asked the son how he was doing, he said he was heartbroken. I had to turn it off. No more. No mas. Okay, no mas. No more. But yeah, going back to the thing about someone saying interviewing people, I would like to have seen an interview of the kids years later, even though I think that would be like so traumatic and re-traumatizing. I don't know if I really want that. There's a sense of, how are they doing today? How are they coping? I think just human curiosity of how are they doing? How are they doing are they living with their grandmother? Were they able to stay connected to anybody to the community? Do they still have friends I don't know, go back there and see or meet up with? Are some of the questions that I still have, because it's just sad, y'all. It was really sad. It doesn't like she shows any remorse during the interrogation. She just like looks dead in the eyes. Yeah, neighborhood will never be the same. Yeah, never be the same. I don't think it's strange. I'm gathering that they probably didn't have AJ probably didn't have the best relationship, maybe with the father. Maybe it was that. It could also be he's not a financial place to take care of, 4 kids. It could be that too. It could be that her and her mother were so close that if anything was to happen to her, she told her mother that she would want them to live with her. So yeah, I'm guessing it would be hard to just suddenly take on 4 kids as much as, they are my kids, I am their father. He may not have been working. And if he was working, maybe he was barely getting by. So now to, take on 4 kids, their trauma emotionally, maybe he just wasn't in the place to do all those things. And of course, we as Black women are like, we got this. And I'm sure, based off of what the young man on TikTok said, I'm sure a community of Black women are raising her kids. I wonder about her daughter. The daughter watching her in the street just combing the Barbie's hair. It was just such innocence in that moment. You know, I'm just out here in the street playing with my friends with my Barbies, creating Black joy. My only care at that time or worry is probably what time I gotta be inside. But once I go back inside, Imma come on and play tomorrow. But that was taken away from them. And it's like when they went to live with their grandmother, did they stay in the same schools? Did they lose that too, depending on how far the grandmother, lives? Did they lose a sense of community by having to switch schools and leave all the activities maybe that they were involved in? There's just different layers of grief involved in this situation. It's just not the loss of their mother, it's the loss of so much at such young ages. And I wonder how they're doing. I wonder if they got therapy. I wonder if the mother got therapy, if other kids. Yeah, they're like, the Karen over there called, right? We already know that the Karen called y'all. Yeah. We already know that lady called y'all. But yeah, so much pain. So much pain. What else came up for you guys as other parts you guys want to discuss and talk about? Oh, this one they told oh, it's when he found out.
Y'all love mom. Right. I got some bad news to tell you. Mom is not coming back anymore. Come on. No.
It's music.
Come over here. Listen to me. No. I know. Okay. It's okay.
All of it just compounded all at the same time. Oh, okay. One of the kids has a lot of trauma, has a trauma therapist, and the grandma's okay. And that's another thing, like, I wonder about the accessibility that they have to a therapist financially. How close are they? Is it in person? Is it virtual? Do you guys feel like the documentary vindicated AJ and provided a better narrative than maybe the news or what you saw before? But using the body cam footage, we became, like I said, witnesses. Yeah. I want to see how they came together also afterwards. Because if it wasn't for them, oh, it looks like her mother started a nonprofit, Stand in the Gap. Ain't trying to get no copyright, you know. Mm. This is cool. Oh, they were promoting the premiere. Standing in the Gap was founded with the mission to transform grief into action, loss into legacy. Here we channel collective anguish into powerful advocacy for justice, healing, and cultural resilience. Join us in this vital journey as we heal, advocate, and inspire through the enduring strength of Black artists, cultural artists. Generational impact. The effects of such violence transcends generations. Emotionally, we talked about psychological support, economic assistance, legal and justice system navigation. Oh, this is really cool. It's almost like the foundation kind of wraps their arms around you in different ways. So you can make a donation, you can become a donor to help families. So the website is standinginthegap.org in case anybody wants to check it out and possibly donate. This is a beautiful website. It's crazy because I feel like her mom looks so young. Yeah, she sure did. I talked about that in my video. That lady has some issues. I don't know what they were, but she had issues. I don't know. At this point, you can't blame your trauma for these kind of actions. Even if you had trauma, you can't blame that. But yeah, the website's so pretty and well done. Yeah. Well, they have some different stuff. Oh, this one is already passed. Looks like they had a screening for the documentary. Her mom is continuing to make sure her daughter's legacy lives on. That's powerful. The grief that you're going through, but you're still putting together something for your grandchildren, for your daughter to make sure the legacy is still there. But this is really good. But yeah, there's a way to make donations, everybody. If anybody wants to make a donation, they should just tear this house down. I don't know how anybody could live in that house after everything that happened. But yes, it's standinthegap.org. If you guys want to check it out yourselves, support us watching the documentary and talking about it is supporting, is continuing on her legacy. Those are all things that I think are important. Oh, thank you. You know, all these things I could not do without you guys supporting the channel, supporting me as a person. Yeah, I came back from my brand deal at midnight on Sunday. So I'm still, kind of trying to get back in here. I'm a little tired. I've been doing videos a lot. I still have some videos I need to do. It's kind of a big week because we got Married at First Sight coming back. Love is Blind's coming back. I recorded my recap for Reasonable Doubt on Sunday and I went to edit and it was 30 minutes of me talking and my mic was never plugged in. That was so frustrating. And now I'm like, do I want to re-record it? Because 30 minutes of it's me talking. I'm like, where's the volume? Why isn't it working? My mic was not plugged in. I was just like, oh, maybe that's a sign I need to slow down. Okay. Yeah, donate. Support them. The funds will go to, I'm sure, her kids. and helping other families who go through violence to try and find therapy, who are navigating the legal system. All those things are all important. Okay. But I think it was, I want to say it was a great documentary because it was, but it was very sad. So it was great to hear her story, to see what really happened versus, the news is so polarizing, and tries to spin a certain narrative, but to see what really happened, the injustice that, occurred, all those things I think we need to see. And personally, for me, I don't feel like AJ needed vindication. But as y'all saw in some of the comments in my video, there's people out there who think she was the problem. Okay. There's always going to be those people out there. But yeah, we have a lot of great stuff coming up this week. Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, more Braxtons. A lot of great things, y'all. A lot of great things. But of course, I appreciate you guys stopping by, sticking with me for an hour, talking about this. If you're not come to the live and you're going to rewatch this, or you're part of the replay gang, hashtag replay gang, okay? Replay gang. Or any other shows that, y'all are watching. I probably don't have time for nothing else, to be honest. So let me scratch that off the record. But yeah, I really enjoyed talking about this and bringing discussions to the air that sometimes, people are afraid to talk about or we don't talk about. We watched it, but what about the ripple effects to the children, to the community, and how community is losing itself? We are losing community. Everyone's so divided, trying to survive these days, that I feel like community is just being lost. And it's really important to acknowledge and talk about how we are losing community. So yeah. Oh, I know you're gonna be in the comments, Reese. But yeah, I think we're just losing community, especially now with the whole federal shutdown, people losing their benefits, people losing their food stamps, SNAP benefits, workers not showing up anymore at some of these airports. The next, I think, month or so, it's gonna be pretty bad out here. Everybody's gonna be out for self. Everybody's gonna be in survival mode. And because of that, community is gonna be out the door. Because I gotta make sure I got enough food for my family. I gotta make sure I have enough money for the things we gotta do in our household. That what y'all doing over there, y'all want to talk about sharing food, bring us up to the potluck. Everybody's just gonna be focused on just trying to survive. And I feel like things are about to get really bad. Really bad. So I think the mental health crisis is only gonna get worse. It's only going to get worse. And I don't know, I can't see it getting better anytime soon with all these things that continue to happen with this administration. Okay. But once again, thank you guys for joining me on the live. We're going to go live this week and talk about Married at First Sight. I think I want to do a live for the Braxtons this weekend, and probably a live discussing wrapping up Love is Blind. So we probably got about 3 more lives this week. And that's if no other pop culture stuff happens. But I'm gonna cut this, for the night. I gotta go record my Gucci. I watched The Breakfast Club and Gucci was talking about having schizophrenia. So I'm about to do a video on that. I also want to talk about cruise talk and this woman find out that her husband has been cheating on her since day one. I'm gonna do a video on that tomorrow. So you got 2 videos coming tomorrow about the Breakfast Club interview. And we're going to talk about, Cruz talking this woman find out that her husband never liked her. Her husband never liked her. Okay. And those of you who are still here, I have a new little thing that I'm going to be doing. It's called Out of Order. Okay. Where I, as a judge your relationships. Okay. It's going to be a little bit of a comical thing, not so serious. Okay. So stay tuned for that. I might try and do that this week. I might try and do it next week. But yeah, that's a new little thing I want to try and do is a little show. You know, we judge relationships. I have my whole judge outfits. Okay, your girl's gonna be a judge with a gavel. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, y'all. All right. But thank you once again for coming to the live. Hit the like button, leave some comments on the video to help it out. If you're watching on a device, hype up the video. And I look forward to all the things that we have coming this week. I appreciate you guys as always. Okay, I hope you guys have a good evening or wherever you're watching from. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye. See ya.